Good evening, everyone. Tonight we are casting a game between TPO Goat versus Goon Squad Gaming.
Yes, good evening, everyone. We have a little short delay for the draft. Looks like the the other team needs a little break, so
Somebody had to run to the bathroom quickly, which is in the first. I want to say last night we had in the scrim we had technical difficulties. This time it's just
yeah,
little bathroom
player death,
break.
player death. So how you doing tonight, there, Jim?
I'm doing well. Glad to get to cast some games after a long day of work.
Uh, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You want to actually, while we're waiting, do you want to run through the sides and announce who's
Uh,
playing?
yes. So on the blue side of Goon's Squad game, I'm gonna struggle over that. We have Soul in the top lane. We have Barnabas Collins in the jungle. Finch in the mid lane. Uh, Gengar. I'm just gonna go Gengar. Is the 80 carry, and that Decker Kai is the support. And for TPO Gold, we have Notorious TLP in the top lane. We have Sadness in the jungle. Deathlow is in the mid lane. Dog Davis has 80 carry, and CB Pop Tartism has support. These names, I swear, they're trying to kill me.
Yeah, there's a lot of unique names. I want to say
Yes,
that's Gengar Riffith.
it might be, but for me, it's Gengar.
Not gonna try pronouncing that one.
Absolutely not. No, no. I have my limits, and that just about reaches it. So,
So, do you think
um,
this Soul is he a set main?
no, he's an Aurelian Soul main.
An Aurelian Soul main.
Yes.
Intriguing. Very intriguing.
Listen, if Zoe can be an 80 carry, Aurelian Soul can go top lane.
I don't know how that one works out, especially since he's not even reworked and very weak currently in the meta. Maybe afterwards when he has like all those R's as all of his abilities, besides his one ability that allows him to dash over walls.
I'm excited for the new the rework to come out for Aurelian Soul. I don't play Aurelian Soul, and but right now apparently there's like a bug on PvE where he gets like stuck in walls,
Yeah.
and he has to back to get out of it. That would be my luck if I ever played the champ. I made the mistake of not knowing that you couldn't hide in bushes, so. I'm pretty excited for this game tonight. Apparently, these guys have played together or against each other before, so it's the exact same team. I guess I think I read, except for there's a new jungler. So
Yeah, they both played each other. I believe they said last spring. So this is
I
kind of
believe
like
so.
a
It's hard to
reunited
read in
matchup.
between all of the talk about Pop Tarts.
Listen,
Apparently, all have a flavor of
when you
Pop Tarts.
have somebody that's name is Pop Tarts, you got to know which is their favorite flavor. And
Somebody said
apparently,
Eggo waffles is
my
a flavor
favorite's
of Pop
still the
Tart.
2002 Spider-Man limited edition Pop Tarts.
Listen, I have no idea what that is. I'm
You should
old,
look them up.
Jim. I'm old.
You're not that old.
I'm pushing it.
It was
I've been told
wild
I'm the
berry Pop
grandma
Tarts,
of the
but
Discord.
it was wild berry Pop Tarts, but instead of just that like pastry colored, that like tan, they had red, and then they had the blue and white Spider-Man webbing on for the frosting.
Oh. That just sounds
It was amazing.
no. Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, people, cuz. Uh, so it looks like they are about ready to start
Yep.
draft here. I'm interested to see what this the
What the teams have in
why
mind
can't well
to
why am I
play.
having like a brain aneurysm today?
Because you forgot to drink Dubby, or have you not
I
made
may
one yet?
have.
As a friendly
Um,
reminder to everyone watching, you can go to Dubby, I believe it's dubby.gg, and use TPO Esports for the code for 10% off your entire order, except for if you're deciding to get a massive bundle, those are marked off already at the lowest cost. But we're going right into drafts. First ban from GSG is that Smear, followed up by a Maokai from TPO, a Nivea in response from GSG.
Dog Davis does not get his Samira. They're like, nope, I don't want to see it. I don't. Now that the patch has been brought back, they're gonna ban a Cassante in the top lane, followed by an Ashe. These guys are just like boom boom right through these bans.
Yeah, going fast. Normally teams though in the have ideas for what they want to ban in first pick. So that's a
That's an
first pick of
insta
Mumu.
lock. Insta lock of
Didn't even
Mumu.
think about it. Didn't even give him a chance to think. Just was like, boom, a Mumu. Your turn. Let's get into game.
Yeah. So they've been two of the 80 carries.
Yep, two eighty
There's
carries,
that
technically
first
three
lock.
or support Ash.
Misfortune's locked in for the side of TPO Goats, followed by a Mordekaiser. Top lane, I'm gonna say.
It could be top or jungle.
It
Fits
could
into
be.
both roles. Every once in a while, you'll see it mid. Not the best choice mid because there is a lot of AP scaling currently in that mid lane. So not every so often do you want to be a Mord and be getting poked down repeatedly. But a Kaisa locked in for GSG, followed by a J4. So a lot of engage. So it looks like that is an Amumu support with that Jarvan coming in.
Okay, I can dig it. Mm. I have seen J4 being flexed, and whether they were just trolling in support or they were actually like playing it.
It is loosely a support. It's support in the idea of you're gonna speed. My flag's gonna speed up your autos, but I'm not gonna do much else. But that is a Leona in response for that support on TPO Goat side.
Definitely a Leon jungle.
So it is kind of more of a traditional team fighty bot lane with two tank engaged supports so far. An Ori ban coming from TPO Goats.
The next ban coming through is the Morgana. Sorry, Deathlow.
That's definitely against Deathlow in the mid lane. That's
Yeah.
one of his more popular champs to play.
I played against his Morgana's mid lane once, and I never choose to do that again. And the last ban for TPO Goats is going to be Dremel. Oh, we missed the ban. Okay. That was
That
a
was a
Syndra ban.
Syndra. So Syndra and Ornn wrap up.
And, all right, so they got the Orange ban, they have the Syndra ban. True. Chat is wild. All right, so the next
So are they
pick
gonna
for
save
TPO
counter
Go.
pick for top or mid? It's
Oh
like
no, they're
top,
just gonna go right in with the Vector.
taking that Victor mid, which is a good high scaling AP mid laner. So that's somebody that's going to have start out slow but get a lot of damage towards that late game.
And for the side of Goon Gaming, they're gonna pick a Galio. Is that Galio mid?
Yep, that'll be a Galio mid. Kind of looking to provide assistance as well as that's a dive common. The Mumu, the Jarvan looking to dive in as well as the Kaisa, the Galio all on top of them. They're looking to dive that back line of TPO goats and get on top of them.
Yeah.
They're
How is the
saying
matchup between Galio and Victor?
um
Uh,
Victor can poke him out. Galio does have the spell shield.
yeah.
That'll probably actually be a Wukong top and not a Wukong jungle. I'd be surprised if it would be a Jarvan top. It'd be a very off meta pick in top lane.
I'm all for off meta picks. Like they are probably one of my favorites. I mean, who wants to go normal stuff when you can go stuff like
But the
Jarvan
Galio
support?
will be able to survive a decent amount while kind of just having that melee and two range matchup. And that is a Shen top to close out for
Right.
TPO goats.
Is it a Shen? Like, it could be a Shen jungle.
What?
Could be Shen jungle. River
Um,
Shen.
it's not as popular as Mord jungle currently, so I'd assume that it would be a Shen top lane. Get that double global advantage. You can run TP and use that ult at 6. Make a play bot side and then teleport back to your turret.
Yeah. No, I mean it makes sense. We will see where all of these uh, champs are locked in for. Because we did see the Amy Swain bot lane
In the
yesterday. That
scrim
was
yesterday.
pretty wild. So, all right, we're about to go into hopefully champs luck.
Looks like the teams are
Before
ready to
this
go
time's up.
and just waiting to have the person click
Okay.
in to go in. See what's going on for these two teams.
All right. So, what is the matchup looking like right now? She has a death ball combo. The Leon of Misfortune's good. That Amumu though, if it's support, is gonna be terrifying.
So what GSG is looking to do, Emily, is they're just looking for the Jarvan, the Amumu, and the Wukong to dash in onto that backline Victor and Misfortune, and then just
Yeah.
have Kaisa ult in to that target, the Galio ult in on top of them, and to create the knockup so that there's such a lot of such extreme pressure. The Jarvan ult can lock them down. The Mumu can lock them down. The Wukong can knock them up. The Galio ult can knock them up while Kaiser dashes in and tries to kind of execute those carries.
I mean, yes. I know. I don't know where everyone's going. I'm still not sold on who's going top lane here. If it is a Wukong, I mean, I don't know the matches up. I'm not gonna I'm not
Well,
gonna
chat
lie
kind of
here.
gave it away and said Soul has a flawless Wukong,
Well,
so
yeah,
it's going to be
yeah.
his
So that's
Wukong to match up against that Shen.
Shen Mordekaiser jungle. Alright, they're
Everything
just
else should
going
just be
standard.
traditional. Yeah, it
Yeah.
should, the only thing that they could have potentially done is that Wukong and Jarvan really, um, that would be the big swap to kind of do. Everything else kind of not great.
So what based on these drafts, what are you thinking for game one?
Um, I think that GSG's comp is a lot easier to play than the comp that TPO Goats has picked. So I think that it kind of leans in their favor. They don't scale as much. They're kind of like a mid game. Most of their damage is on that Kaisa
Yeah.
and the Wukong doing a lot of damage depending on what the Galio does. They are very limited regarding AP. Galio does have some AP, but he doesn't have a crazy amount. So Galio will ultimately lose, but I just think that ultimately they can have that easier type of engage. There is a lot of peel for
Mhm.
TPO goats, but I think it's just there's a lot of engage, and they're going to just look to continually dive in and team fight. A Wukong or a Jarvan getting a flank, or even that Moon getting a flank, could lead to a death sentence for that Victor and Misfortune. So it's going to ultimately come down to the positioning of those two.
Well, I'll have to counter you on that one because Misfortune's extremely strong. The Victor is is fairly weak early game, but late game is pretty unstoppable from what I've seen in the past. And the Leona, even though Mumu has that the dash and stun and the ult effect, I still like the Leona's abilities, especially with Misfortune. It gives her like an upper hand with her ultimate. So we shall see.
All right. But we are going to go on a break for the brief spectator delay that we have. So we will be back shortly.
Hello and welcome to game 1 of Goon Squad Gaming versus TPO Goats. It, they are all headed top lane, so I'm guessing that they're going for some level 1 shenanigans in here, which is like one of my favorite things to see, and Notorious is going to be their target here.
But he did see him out, so he's able to walk back to his team. The Mumu
The Moomoos
Q
keep going.
did miss. He does get that ward down at the red buff, so they do get deep vision. But there was deep vision returned by the Leona and Misfortune in the bot
Yep.
side jungle, so it's just kind of the trade of vision.
And it looks like the Amumu backs for the
Oh, he's getting an
Oracle lens.
early oracles.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to have right off the bat.
No, it just kind of limits what you can put down in those bushes. So he's
Yeah.
likely expecting either no ganks or early ganks from his Jarvan as well. If you didn't notice, the Kaisa and the Amumu did match chromas.
Did
That's
they
something that you
really?
always enjoy.
I do. I do. I like it. She's not using my chroma, but it's okay. So this is just gonna be your standard, early game. I'm expecting the bot lane to play a bit more aggressive.
Oh, the Amumu
And
does go
there it
in, get a
goes.
little poke on the Misfortune. Misfortune's able to, and Leonor is able to return some damage onto the Amumu, but I don't know if that's the trait of health that you want. Level 2's early for the Amumu and Kaisa. They're chunking down the Leona. Leona goes low, is forced to flash. The Amumu also burns the Ignite.
Wow, that was a lot used in that little. So it looks like Dog Davis went Flash Ghost.
Yep. I didn't even realize that the Ghost was also burned in that fight as
Yeah.
well. But the Leona and Misfortune are going to have to play safe, which does work
Yeah.
out in their
This.
favor. Because that Mord is bot side, did path towards bot, while the Jarvan um, path towards top. So the Mord could potentially look for a gank here, but the Kaisa and Amumu are just looking for an early back. Kaisa's does get delayed though.
It was denied a back. And the mid lane just seems to be your typical. I'm just gonna just let me farm. We're not fighting right now.
Yeah, the Victor definitely wants to just farm, get those upgrades on his abilities before starting to fight. Because he can poke, but he's not going to have that great poke or wave clear as of yet. The Galio does go in with an EM the taunt, does get a decent amount of damage onto the Victor, who started corrupting potions to try staying healthy and getting that mana. Mord's coming in looking for a gank mid, but the E from the Galio just gets him out towards that Jarvan safely.
Hey, Kuba. So it looks like both lanes, both bot lane is level 3. Oh, the Galio does go in on Victor and does get him chunked low, but kind of takes that fight under the turret. So, oh, I think it's going to be a bloodbath of a game,
Um, if I was
like later
TPO
on.
Goats, I do not want a bloodbath early. Maybe later, but the early
Yeah.
game you want to kind of keep slow with that Victor. You don't want Galio getting ahead at all. He just wants to scale. Amumu's going in bot side, does get the Q onto the Leona, but the W dissuades him from going any further. Just some trade of damage on the two supports. It is big to notice that the Amumu, when they did back, did just get boots there. So he might be looking to roam early on.
Yeah, that's a typical from what I've seen, Amumu likes to roam early. Everyone is pretty much even CS wise, surprisingly in bot lane for the amount of time that they've engaged. Miss Fortune
The
is able to keep up in that farm.
the top lane is about 10 CS down though, in the favor of the Wukong.
Yeah, that's because Shen just backed, so it kind of gave Wukong that ability to farm up. The first Drake is up. It is just a mountain Drake, no chem pack. Life is sad.
I thought you liked Chemtech souls. You want early Drakes to not be Chemtech.
No, I want them all to be chem pack.
That's not how that
All chem
works.
pack. It looks like Kais is gonna return with her. Oh, she gets interesting.
Pickaxe and
Okay,
two
she get.
long. Oh no, she just
Yeah,
get a
instead of
pickaxe and
going.
longsword.
Yeah, I was waiting for the noon quiver, but maybe she's going the same type of thing that you taught me to go with the serrated dirk.
If they were gonna get serrated Dirk for that early kill pressure, they could have just easily bought it there.
Yeah.
Because it's only 750 to get that. So it's a very interesting build path. Misfortune is going to return with a full noon quiver. Um, Victor does blow his teleport to get back to mid lane, get back to farming. Both him and the Galio are going to return with a full last chapter. Um,
Him.
Top lane, there is a bit of a difference. There's the Kindle Gem versus the Warhammer
Yeah.
for the Wukong.
Um. So Kaisa went back and she got a dagger. Interesting. And she's kind of letting Misfortune get some CS advantage here. So they did place some vision around Dragon because I'm guessing that TPO Ghost is gonna want to go for the
Galley
drag,
goes
but
in, does get the stun off, but has to walk away after the gravity well comes out from the Victor in mid lane.
oh,
Shen?
Amumu's top side.
Woo Woo roam top looking for a gank onto the Shen, all the way down from bot lane. Looks like the Shen was able to
Alright.
dodge it and just walk out to his turret, so just to kind of wave push dissuade, while the Misfortune and Leona are just chipping away at that first plate on the turret in bot lane. But they did roam top to move towards Herald. The Galio does go in by himself on the Victor, large chunk out on the Galio, and they're able to get the ult out to kind of dissuade the Galio from further. Flash from Amumu does miss the Q. Shen ult comes out trying to save the Victor, does not make it through.
Jarvan
Meanwhile,
all gets
Mord
blown
takes
there.
down the Galio in his ult, but goes down immediately after to the rest of the top jungle in support of GSG. Herald is dropped
Ooh.
to try getting some pressure in plates in mid lane. Does get that charge down, but not much more.
Yeah. And they're kind of letting Kaisa just give or get some turret. No, she's not going to get close enough to the turret. Disregard.
I think she's gonna get
But it looks like they are
just there and then
positioning
have to back
for.
off.
Yeah, they're gonna position for this Drake, I'm guessing. Alright, so Kaisa is a little bit behind in CS, but it looks like she's gonna be able to come back with at least her noon quiver. What is she building? I'm so confused right now. She's got two pickaxes and two longswords and a dagger.
Galio goes back in to put some damage down on the Victor, dealing a decent amount of damage. Hex Flash from the Amumu, he's looking for the Q, lands it, follow an ult, follow up knock up from the Galio. Galio's able to secure the kill on the Victor in mid lane. Up top lane, Shen taunts in but misses the Wukong. The Wukong dashes away and, to burn out the time of the shield from the Shen. Meanwhile, down at Dragon Pit, the bot lane and jungler from TPO Goats does take the first mountain drake of the game.
Hmm. If we're gonna talk about this Kaisa build, what is she doing?
I think she's just going for raw damage right now.
Okay. Interesting. Um,
Mord does stay mid to kind of relieve some pressure, but Shen and Wukong are just trading blows up in top lane. Neither of
yeah.
them looking to really flinch, even though that there's a bit more damage with that Sheen on the side of the Wukong.
Yeah. Whereas Shen went for the bracer for the health and
It's working towards the heart zero.
the health
The
region.
flag and drag followed by the ult by the Jarvan does catch out the Victor, but the Galio's not able to taunt, but the continued fight does sentence the death of the Victor once again, who's currently 0-3 to start the game. Not the place where he wants to be as he's trying to scale up there.
Oh, this could be a rougher Victor.
The Mord once again is forced to catch that mid wave to kind of prevent from a lot of turret plates and gold going to that Galio.
Because there's 2 plates missing on the mid turret right now. And top lane is just kind of like wet noodle fighting it right now. But Wukong does pick up the Divine Sunderer first.
So he's going to
And
start hitting that Shen hard.
yeah, Jarvan did get the full gore drinker.
Rylai's does come
40.
through for the Mord. The Jarvan's hovering on bot lane. I think he might be looking for another engage onto the bot lane of TPO Goats. The flag and
The
drag forces out the flash from Leona as she's able to get away.
Amumu is just kind of like, did he just like flash in in the pit after taking
Nope.
jungle?
Nope.
Very
The
confused here.
extended fight. The Shen's able to come through with the ult. The Galio has to ult as well. Trade of 2 ults and an attempt to kill the Victor once again and keep him down. Deathlow's able to make it out thanks to the help of the Shen ult there as Shen walks back towards topside.
Ooh, Sadness roams attempts to roam mid.
He's looking for a gank mid, but I don't know what much he has left. The Galio's able to dash away from the pull from Mord and then Everfrost to root and kind of dissuade any more of a fight. The flash taunt doesn't land anybody. He kind of catches himself out of place in the face of 3 people. The Mord ult does come through as they start beating it. The flag and drag then ult from Jarvan does get the kill on the Victor. The Galio does go down to the Mord as Leona and Mord chase the Jarvan, but the Amumu does show up first, followed by the Wukong. It looks like it's turning around in the face of TPO Goats as the Leona goes down. The Wukong ults on top of the Mord, secures the kill on the Mord. Misfortune is left out by herself and is getting chased flash for flash. The Misfortune and the Wukong as she's trying to get away, trying to kite to see about getting away from that Wukong, but the Wukong picks up another kill.
3-0.
The Victor is able to throw out his
Jarvan.
upgraded E and root the delay the back of the Wukong, but Kaisa ults in aggressively with the Amumu Q landing on the Victor, and the Victor goes down again, currently 0-5. Not the best game for Deathlow so far.
No. With a 3-0 Wukong and a 3-0 Jarvan, I it looks like Kaisa does finally pick up Noon Quiver and Boots, where Misfortune has a full Kraken Slayer, full Boots. Very interesting build path.
Looks like GSG is setting up for that second Drake, trying to get it there. They do have the power and the pressure for it, as four members show up for that, and only one nearby currently is the Leona. Mord's topside clearing waves to kind of provide aid for the Shen. Galio actually is topside as well, so it was the Wukong there at Dragon Pit.
They're just um the GSG is just invading on Mordekaiser's jungle, which might cost them a fight here.
The
I don't know.
Misfortune does get caught by the Amumu and the Jarvan ult. She ults in place but gets knocked up by the flag and drive to cancel her ult. Shen ult does come through to get him there, but I don't know if that's where he wants to be, as the Wukong teleports in and ults both him and the Shen and the Leona up, trapping them in that fight, as it goes to a 3-0 in the TPO Goats blue side jungle.
This is a rough game. Definitely rough. There's a lot of ults blown in that fight. There's a Wukong ult, a Jarvan ult, and a Mumu ult. This is a little bit of a rough one. Dathlo really needs to just farm and not fight the Galio or Wukong, whoever decides to be in lane at that time.
Yeah, the TPO Goats definitely do need to slow down the game. Say, hey, we need our Victor to scale, who's currently well and behind.
Yeah.
He's a level down on his opposing mid laner, and tied with the same level as both the jungler and ADC. He's getting caught out once again by the Galio and the Amumu, who go heavy in for him. The ult does return, as it looks like he might be able to take down that Amumu, but the Amumu flashes away, is barely walking out with no health, but the upgraded E is able to secure the kill on the Amumu.
Nicely done.
Mord comes to mid to try dropping that Herald, but there's multiple members of GSG that's there. As the Wukong's flanking from the behind, I don't think Mord and Victor knows that they're. Before Wukong even gets there, Galio takes out the Victor once again. Mord is now stuck in Jarvan pit with both Wukong and Jarvan, but as Galio takes the kill on the Mord as well. The Leona and Misfortune during that fight were able to take down that bot turret tier 1, but 2 kills in mid tier 1, as well as a lot of damage that's going to be coming down onto the mid tier 2, possibly the mid tier 2 itself. Not the best fight. The
Looks like
Galio goes
Shen
in
is
on the
pushing.
Misfortune, who's way far out away from her support, ends up getting caught and immediately exploded. She did try to blow her ghost there to try getting out, but I don't know what the ghost was going to be able to do there. Mord does get caught out as well by the Amumu. The Kaisa ults in, as well as the Jarvan follows up to get a kill on him as well. It looks like GSG is just reading the map, reading the plays, and catching out the members of TPO Goats.
Ooh, this is rough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, they do have the. I didn't even realize that the Hextech gates had spawned. We do have a Hextech drag that's coming up in a minute and a half. We have Baron spawning in a minute. I think TPO Goats really wants to position for this Baron. They need
But
to get some gold somewhere on the map.
but how do they fight into this? They're currently down 16-4, Emily.
They don't fight. We don't fight. Like they either have to fight as a team, but like even then, you have a 5-0 Wukong, a 4-0 Jarvan, a 3-0 Kaisa. So they're gonna want to like go for picks or
The
I mean
Kaisa has
something.
the same amount of items. Even with that
Yeah.
weird build path that she started out with and down in CS, she has the same amount of items.
And it looks like Misfortune's just going for the collector. I'm not sure what Kaisa's going for. It looks like maybe Nasher's tooth. Because I think that the recurvo builds into, like, I know it builds into Nasher Tooth, but I don't know what else she would be building it for.
Looks like the four-man group of CSG does look to engage onto the jungle and Victor. Victor immediately goes down as he gets trapped in the ult. Mord does ult the Amumu, trying to get a kill. He does get the kill on the Amumu, but doesn't get anything more of it as the four-man squad just rotates to that second Drake for GSG.
Oh boy, so half of them are going for this Drake, the other half are going up to Baron to kind of try and keep them off. It looks like Kaisa's going to maybe go for that tier 2 turret in bot lane. They're just clearing Mordekaiser's jungle right now.
And a three-man push in top lane by TPO Goats trying to get at least some gold. They do have the bounty gold for them, so that if they get that top tier 1, they do get something out of it. But
Oh no, Deathlow.
GSG is just pushing down that tier 2 mid. The Victor ult is thrown out to try to dissuade them, but the Victor is good flash by him as the flag and drag does miss. The Jarvan dove too far and gets taken down by the Shen. Shutdown gold for him. The chase, the counter engage by the Galio and Wukong is big as the Mumu follows up, and GSG turns it around on the three-man squad of Victor, Mord, and Shen, leaving just Leona and Misfortune to try to defend the base.
Oh no. I'm gonna be honest, it's not looking too great for TPO Gold as it is 21-6. Yes, you are right. Yes, she is bodying this team. I mean, this Amumu's pretty on point with all of his stuns. What do you see going on here, Jim? What does TPO Goats have to do?
Well, they did the right thing. Somebody just needs to sit bot lane, farm that wave.
Yeah.
The super minions are going to push in. It's unfortunate for them, but they need to get gold. Like it ended up being a Blade of the Rune King for Kaisa for that second item for that recurve bow.
Interesting. Okay.
But they need to just get gold into their carries. And they're just looking for the catchouts. Unfortunately, they have to defend like their carries, but their carries are having the hardest time because there's just the Death Ball Wombo combo from GSG that gets almost eliminates somebody immediately. And with that Hex Drinker on the Wukong, it's going to be even harder to kill him with any sort of AP damage. The Galio does go and catches the Mord with the taunt. The Shen tried taunting forward but gets knocked up. The Mord takes the Kaisa into the ult but doesn't get anywhere out. Victor already dead. Leona's trying to peel the Galio off, but the flag and drag does catch out the Misfortune as well as the Amumu ult. It looks like it's going to be a clean ace. Nope, the Shen does take out the Amumu in the end, but that is a 5-for-1, an ace for one, as there's a big wave in bot lane for GSG that they can just march in and look to potentially end with 10 seconds left on the Victor that hasn't shown up great this game.
Yeah. I'm I'm gonna say this is game for the side of
And Galio even backs
GSG.
to teleport back in to make sure that those minions don't die to that first Nexus turret. They do take both Nexus turrets down. The Misfortune is up to try to help the Victor, but that's not enough, and game 1 goes to GSG.
Yes. That was a rough game. That was rough. Like we talked about um in the spectator delay, like this team did have to play flawlessly in order to get away from the team or the comp that GSG had drafted. Uh, Now the Wukong did the most damage with 15,000, and they're really the only other um, chance that was like close would have been Deathlow at like almost 15. But I think that they just need to. I don't want to say draft better because that sounds mean, but definitely pick up something a little bit different, or not let that Wukong through again.
They need to find something to answer the dive comp if it comes back through.
Yeah.
But we are going to take a short break to get ready for game 2, so we'll be back shortly. And welcome back, everybody. We are currently in draft for game two. We're just waiting for them to queue in and be ready to draft. TPO Goats, after that loss, did choose to take blue side and get that first pick. Looked like that
Yep.
Amumu was a pick that both teams wanted and was a pivotal pick in that last game. So maybe
Yeah.
they're looking to potentially try to get that for their own hands to make it so that they can start making bigger plays as they try to bounce back from that tough loss in game one.
Yes. It was tough, but I have no doubt that they can bring it back for game number two. So we are starting the ban phase. So let's see. The first ban is a Cassante for top lane, and Samira gets banned. They're not letting Dog Davis have this. And the Anivia ban and the J4 ban comes through for TPO Goats along with Olaf. I would have banned the Wukong and not let Wukong come back.
Looks like they didn't want to deal with the J4 though. Get rid of that
Yeah.
engage and lockdown.
I did have the op.gg for the
That's a Maokai first pick, likely in the jungle. Still fairly strong even after the nerfs came through on that Maokai. Let's see what the response is for GSG.
I'm waiting to see if they pick the Amumu because I know it is shared between the two. There it is. Yep.
There's the Amumu, potentially back in the hands of the support for GSG. That Decker guy definitely had a strong game that last game.
Yes. Yes, they did. And the Zaya gets
Saya for the 80s carry.
does play or Gengar does play a lot of Zaya. Let's see what is going to be the answer. A Nami. Interesting choice. I'm wondering if that Momo is gonna go support again. I don't know how well that works with Zaya, but and the last pick for TPO Goats is going to be a they've shown their 80 carry, so this would be the time to pick it, and they're gonna pick Kaisa.
Kaisa,
Okay.
which is a stronger pick for Doc Davis. Let's see if he can shelter the weight onto his shoulders a bit more this game to see if he can potentially be the carry that TPO Goats is looking for. A
And a
Sejuani.
Sejuani.
So
That's a
both
Sejuani
jungle and
jungle.
bot lane are picked for the two teams. So mid and top bans should be coming through. And the Morgana ban from GSG aimed towards that mid lane. Galio in return, as they don't want to deal with the Galio again. Ornn banned for top side against TPO Goats.
Ornn ban. I mean, I guess Ornn is a safe ban because he is a very good top laner. I'm waiting for the Wukong ban to come through.
Would be a worthy ban. Nope, they're looking to ban the Shen, not give that over in exchange. Didn't want to try to even play it themselves if it wasn't picked either. So
It's gonna be dangerous if that Ooh,
Oriana
Ori
blind
gets picked.
picked for GSG to kind of give that counter pick
That's a
to their top
very
side.
it's a very strong pick for the Finch.
Th It is something that she's going to have a lot of ball delivery systems between that Amumu and Sejuani dashing into the enemy team. That's something that you got to be careful because one of those two might not be coming at you alone. It might be followed up by that Oriana ball and ult. And Veigar for
Those
mid lane
Vagar.
for TPO. Who's going to be their top laner?
Interesting. There, wait till last second. Huh. Let's see. And they
And they look like they missed pick. It is a set. They just announced in the chat. So it is set top lane for TPO. Let's see who GSG wants to answer with for that set.
the
And it's a
Mundo.
Mundo in response. So Emily, who do you think has the advantage here between these two teams?
I mean, I do like uh the TPO draft this time. With the Nami, the Kaisa, the Vagar, there's a lot of scaling, but that Mundo is strong. Sejuani with the root, and the Amumu was a big issue last time. So I am, I mean, I am gonna go with TPO. Go, I kind of have to, but they just have to be careful of that Amumu this time.
I would like to see it go to a game 3 and TPO to take this one. That Veigar does have to still be careful. They did get a little bit more mobility on that 80 carry this time. Not as immobile as the Misfortune. She does have her E. She does have the ult to try to get away from engages if need be. Um, but that Veigar's going to have to watch out for the Amumu and the Sejuani dashing in with that Oriana ult.
Did you know that Zaya is a shared champ of both Doc Davis and the AD carry?
Um,
I have not seen Doc Davis play Zaya, but it is on the OP.GG.
yep, so it was an interesting pick.
So
Kaisa
what are your thoughts
currently
on
is
this matchup?
the matchup. Um, it's honestly a skill-based matchup between the two AD carries. Um, Both have a lot of burst between the feather pull,
Yeah.
and just the passive proc from Kaisa, so both can quickly blow up a um, the enemy. But the Zaya does have that ult to kind of counterplay any sort of engages and dodge some abilities. If she needs to, she can potentially dodge the baby cage from the Veigar if she needs. But it's something that's kind of go heavy. The set is going to have a hard time up in top lane, though. That Mundo passive is going to kind of dissuade his ability to kind of do all of his stuns. His ult is not going to work until he gets that passive ult off, and the Mundo's healing is slightly better than the set healing itself, as well as that ult from Mundo is just able to heal drastically more.
Yeah. I mean, mid lane's gonna have to just like they're gonna have to play safe, farm into late game, and Set's gonna have to be very careful with this window. Like, because like the Twitch chat just said, there is an enormous amount of CC
Yep.
on the side of GS. G.
Yeah, there's the Feather Recall that can root the Amumu Q alt, the Oriana alt technically, the Sejuani E, the Sejuani alt, and or Sejuani's gonna have a lot of help with that Amumu and Mundo, kind of helping her set up that E stacks to kind of stun more people up and make sure that they're not walking away. So she does have help with there, so she's not the only one trying to stack that up.
I have to say GSG did draft better, but I still think that the goats can pull it together. They just have to play careful and they have to put vision down. And make sure that they keep track of the Momo, where he's going, what he's doing, what lane is he roaming to this time. Um, he did get a lot of roaming ability last game, so they need to stop that early.
He roamed a lot. If he's going to be roaming like that ahead, this Nami and Kaisa have to play really aggressive and try to punish that Zaya, get kills, get tower plates, make him
Yeah,
pay for not being in lane, and kind of force him to stay in lane. Last game he was just able to kind of roam with no punishment for being out of lane onto that onto this GSG 80 carry.
yeah, they kind of let Kaisa do her own thing without punishing her too hard, so they do need to punish the 80 carry a little bit harder this game, and hopefully just keep them shut down. I mean, the bot lane is scary to me, but let's see. We are going to take a brief spectator delay as we get ready for game two, so do not go anywhere. We shall return. Hello and welcome back to game 2 of GSG versus TPO. Goats. We are going to we're going to watch and see that they're not going to let this Amumu roam everywhere. It looks like they're just going to do the standard, like, let's meet in the middle. Have a dance off in mid lane. They're not doing the cheese strat invade that they attempted to last time.
Something interesting to notice, the Maokai did go Red Smite
Oh,
to
instead
kind
of
of get
the
a more aggressive slow rather than the more tanky green Smite.
yeah,
So might end up being a little bit more squishy of a jungler he might be going AP Maokai instead of potentially a hybrid or tank Maokai.
AP Maokai is still very popular. Um, Everyone said that it was going to be nerfed. I didn't really see that. I haven't seen much changes. It looks like this Amumu is going right into place that the vision. Nami does get to poke him a little bit here.
But they do get vision to see that the jungler did start bot side, so they're both going to be pathing top. So it's looking to break that passive on Mundo early to kind of just be able to do stuff, do as a little bit of cheese.
Yeah, they're able to track where the Maokai is going now because of that vision. So, what are you expecting to see here? Oh, Datsel's already chunking the Ori out.
Um,
Ooh,
Bit more aggression in regard to the top side. Not a huge fan of the
and
Shen pick. Shen is one of those champs that you have to almost play perfect
well, there
for
is no
him
Shen
to
in
be.
this
Well,
game,
I'm
so
just saying
that's.
from last game. So I'm
Oh, I was like, wait a minute.
so I'm hoping that this set he's a bit more aggressive. Tries to attempt to bully that Mundo in
He
the
did
early
hit
levels.
level 2 first, so
Does seem like he does have the XP lead, hitting level
yeah.
3 first as well. And he's
Yeah,
doing
he
well
kind of
to
needs
kind of
to.
knock off those passive procs and then step on them quick. The Amumu's kind of weirdly pathing, getting forced out of trying to get some vision and having to take the long way around the Dragon Pit to get back to bot lane.
Yeah, that's gonna put him a little bit behind in
He is going to
experience.
miss that experience, but it is going to mean that that's solo experience on Desire. Set
Yes.
Set did push in the Mundo, so it looks like he's going to be. Oh no, he's going to just take an early back after pushing the Mundo. Looks like he's got about 500
He's
gold, so he's going to get longsword and those refillable potions and then teleport back up.
and it looks like the 80 carries did hit level 3. There goes level 3 on Nami. I'm hoping that they can outplay this Amumu with this game. He just did way too much last.
They are giving him a bit of respect. As he steps up, they're backing off, not letting that Q come through, and then a full engage onto the Kaisa.
It does look like Sejuani is headed right to the Dragon Pit.
Looked like she was
Yeah,
trying
trying
to
to get
see
that
if she
vision.
could get the vision or potentially hop over the wall to get a gank on bot side.
Yeah.
Just places the vision and walks away.
Veigar does use teleport to get back to lane quicker as Ori backs.
Likely going to use the teleport of her own, of her, of her
Yeah.
own. That's doing a decent job dueling the
Yeah.
Mundo currently.
You're gonna want to fight him early so that he doesn't get too far ahead. Kaisa is down about 8 CS not terrible, but Zaya's coming back with Gene.
Probably looking to get rushed for that Essence Reaver. That early Essence Reaver to give her the mana based off of her autos.
It's interesting. I would not think to build Essence Reaver on Zaya.
Set is able to kind of zone off the Mundo to kind of make it so that he's starting to build up a small CS lead. The Mumu already started roaming, clearing out vision around mid lane. He's looking to potentially come in for a gank on mid onto that Veigar. Oriana's level 6, so there is the potential to get that kill onto the Veigar.
Veigar is also level 6 and he has that outplay button now with the baby cage. So, oh, in goes the Munda,
And the
or in
flash
goes
from
the
the Amumu doesn't get much out of it, but the ults get thrown out both sides. The Oriana does live as well as the Veigar. Flash blown by the Veigar, but not the Oriana. Oriana didn't even teleport back from her last back. But Veigar's forced to
It's a
back
shoot
and
back.
is going to return to with the lost chapter.
Yeah. And it looks like long swords and dagger was picked up for Kaisa. 2 long swords for Zaya.
Machine.
And
They did
Tiamumu
start
picked up
different
boots again.
items. They did start different
Yeah.
items. The longsword start from the Zaya versus the Dorn's blade.
The
The
Sejuani's gonna
Oriana did
start
not back.
this.
She's sitting there low health and no mana. A wrong
Yeah.
step could potentially mean that the Veigar kills her, but Set's going in on the Mundo topside. Just barely missed by Veigar
Oh.
in mid lane. He's walking back. The Mumu's rotating mid to see if he has to pressure off. Well, the jungler and the ADC for GSG does take that first Drake. Fighting around the board, but no first blood as of yet. As we approach the
It's
8-minute
much
mark.
different than last game. So, both Veigar and Ori have lost chapter, but Ori did come back with refillable potions.
And she's going to be getting a blue buff here from that Sejuani, it looks like.
Sejuani's gonna give over blue buff this early?
Oh, a mishandle there. And the Sejuani does end up taking the blue buff.
Oof. Big oof.
So
I
the
mean, it's
Oriana
a
is
bit
forced to
early to
just
give over a.
return over to the farming that minion wave that just crashed in turret. They don't
Oh
know that the
no.
Amumu's here. He is able to catch out the Nami. The Nami is forced to flash.
Sejuani's coming down for
Sejuani's coming
a
down in as
gank.
well. She's level 6. The Q from
Oh no.
the Amumu lands, but the flash from Kaisa does get her out of the way of the Sejuani ult. Good damage return onto the Amumu, and the exhaust did slow him down, but the Oriana is now roaming down as this is a 4-man potential dive.
Oh no.
Veigar is not moving from mid to come down. It is just the bot lane of TPO. The supports are traded 1-for-1 so far as they're looking to set up and get the second kill. The ult goes down from Oriana. Kaisa ults to try getting a shield to get anything. She is able to trade, and the Nami gets the Zaya. The Kaisa didn't even touch the Zaya, so it is a 2-for-2. A kind of mishandle, but unfortunately both. Nope, the first kill went onto the Kaisa, and the Nami killed the Zaya somehow. In a fight up in top lane, Set and Mundo ults and flashes after the Set and is able to get the kill.
Oh, I did not see that coming. So the ults, there's a lot of ults blown in that last fight. The Oriana ult was blown, the Kaisa ult was blown, Mundo's ult in top
Sejuani.
lane. Yep. No, Sejuani's ult wasn't used in that
Yes, it
fight.
was. She
Was it?
dashed in
Okay.
to
Alright.
the Maokai's looking to gank topside. He dashes in to get rid of the passive, but doesn't really get anything further out of just pushing the Mundo away as Set teleports in to get that wave.
Yeah, I think he needed to wait to engage until Set actually got back to lane.
During that extended fight, though, the Maokai was able to secure Herald up in topside.
Nicely done.
Looks like he's going to be rushing the Demonic Embrace while the Sejuani is going for the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah. Yeah, Demonic Embrace is the typical first item on Maokai still, and then you go into the Leandres
And there's
if
that
you are going
first.
to AP.
And Zaya also came back to lane with that first item, Essence Reaver. Sejuani's
Let's
coming
go,
mid
Matt.
side to get the effect onto Veigar. Two ults go down to get the kill on Veigar, who was caught out of position, pushed too far up. Oriana's now able to push and try to get some turret plates here. The Amumu goes
Oh
in,
no.
ults the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa's not able to do anything. The Kai'Sa ults behind the Xayah, who ulted in return, but she's not able to deal enough damage to get the kill. The kill goes over to the Xayah.
That was not the best trade there, but the Zai did alt, the Amumu alted. And there's a Hex Tech Drake coming up in about 30 seconds.
The
I didn't have my
Kai'Sa will
back
return with
then.
that Kraken Slayer.
Kraken Slayer, yeah.
So that'll give her some power, but it seems like that Essence Reaver was something that was big in that last fight. As well
And
as that
the
Amumu
Amumu
ult.
does have his he does have his support item the first half of it
The
done, where
Amumu
Nami
Q's
does
in and
not.
does land onto the Veigar. The second Q is unfortunately connected to a minion, so he doesn't hit. The bubble lands onto the Oriana, but nothing to follow up on that bubble. Maokai and Kai'Sa are in bot side river trying to get that scuttle, but the Sejuani's there as well to kind of catch out. The bubble from Nami goes over the wall to knock up the Amumu. As both teams look to position to go out, the Veigar is caught by the Q from the Amumu, but Amumu gets ulted by the Veigar and gets shut down. Ori throws the ball over the wall and ults as well. The Sejuani ult did go down to kind of dissuade a bit further, as well as the Maokai. And it's TPO turns to get that second Drake, that Hextech Drake, after dropping Herald, which will rotate mid. Veigar is looking to come in, but so is the Set. The Set roamed down from topside, but Oriana gets caught by
Ooh,
that Veigar cage, is
nicely
limping
done.
out with barely enough health as the Q does secure the kill for Veigar.
Chick. Oh boy.
Oh,
You
the
alright, Pitcher?
Amumu's looking for a flat Hextech flash into that topside river bush that they know it is pink warded, so there's no vision there. So he could have went in with that Sejuani for there. The Herald did crash and take several plates in mid.
And
Kai'Sa,
Kaisa and Nami are gonna bully this
they're trying to get,
Zaya, but I don't think that they don't have enough damage yet. Zaya does have a level lead on them.
and that feather pull did do a lot of damage to that Kai'Sa. Said to
Yeah.
push under turret up in top lane, chunk down to about half health. Mundo's still fairly half healthy, landing those Qs. Those briefcases are starting to hurt.
Oh yeah, was it I always want to call it corporate Mundo, but I know.
Isn't that Corporate Mundo?
Maybe it is, I don't remember. Um there's not a whole lot going on here, but
It is something to notice. The Oriana did go straight and get that Leandries, while Veigar
yep.
stopped to get full tier 2 boots. Ooh, they
Interesting.
don't know that they're there. The Kais is getting caught out by the Amumu, and the Amumu ult. She's forced to flash. The Nami ult does save her. Nami's returning a lot of damage onto that Zaya, but the flash and heal was blown in that engaged by the Kaisa. Good attempted
And
play
yeah,
by this GSG bot side.
and the heal and the flash are both blown on Kaisa.
And
The
here
heal
comes
is blown on
Sejuani.
Zaya.
She's looking for
Oh
another Hex
no.
Flash comes through. The ult from Sejuani lands. The Kaisa ults, but with no health doesn't make it out. The Nami is also forced to flash. I don't know if she wants to stay. She might just have to give over this first turret because she's not going to be able to defend the 3-man push from GSG.
And the first turret
Uh,
did go down in mid lane as well.
yep, I didn't even catch that. Set does get the
Oh,
ult
nicely
off
done.
onto Mundo, but Mundo returns with his ult. Maokai does come in with the Herald, lands it down. Oriana's caught once again by the Veigar cage, but the ult comes in a little bit too early and doesn't get that kill. Steals a lot of damage and pushes the Oriana ult. Pushes the Oriana off.
Yeah,
Can speak today.
it's been a long day. So we have a mountain drake coming up.
So it is a mountain
Not.
soul.
Oh, it's not.
You want to check how many stacks the Veigar has?
Yeah, we have 125 stacks, which is 241 ability power. The Veigar. That's. I mean, I don't really know what the Veigar, what the normal stacks are. Jim, you would know more than I would.
I want to say they want like about 10 a minute. 10 a minute
Okay,
is like perfect.
so
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. It's been a while since I played Veigar.
they're all
But
coming
their
up top lane.
jungle support ADC are all kind of looking to pressure. The Nami ult comes out. The Mumu might be caught out. He does flash. The flash followed by Set lands the stun, but the ult comes in from both the Amumu and Sejuani to stop the Set from going any further.
That that moment was almost caught there. So we do have 40 seconds on Dragon.
Oh, and
2 minutes on Baron.
the Veigar did blow his ult there. Not ult there, his
Really?
flash there.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, what?
So it looks like he tried flashing aggressively to land a cage that ended up missing.
Oriana's pushing that bot turret. She wants that gold. There's no bounties up yet, so.
Nope, no bounty on each side, as it's just about a 1,000 gold lead in the favor of GSG.
2,000?
2,000. I can math.
Yep.
Drake is up. They're looking for it. The Mundo is teleporting down, looking for the play. The Set does not have teleport to match, so he's going to have to push for this turret, as it is end up becoming a 5v4 over this Drake. Do TPO want to do something about this, or are they just gonna have to go to give it away? The Maokai's looking for, as like he's going for an idea of his own. The ult comes out, but he's not able to get there on time. The Oriana W does slow him down, and the Mundo ult was blown there at Drake.
Yeah, I feel like the team wasn't really there for drag. But Set was able to take the top turret, so they did get gold somewhere on the map there. The last whisper is picked up by Kaisa. She's gonna go straight for the LDR.
The
And
Leandries was
Maokai
picked
picked up.
up for Veigar.
Yes. But the Maokai is building Leandri's as he purchased the Lost Chapter.
So it is going to be a little bit squishier of a jungler on the side of TPO. Well, GSG is going to have that big, juicy, big front line from Mundo, Sejuani, and Amumu.
Yeah, Mundo's already got 59 stacks on his Heartsteel, and Set doesn't even have the Mythic, as they chose to go Bork first item. And I figured if you're building Heartsteel, which I don't know if that's what Set is building, I'm going to assume it. You're gonna want to build that first and foremost, but I know he does like need that Omni Vamp.
Sets normally build the Blade of the Room King first to kind of get at that bully pressure. But it is
Yep.
something to notice that Mundo has been playing a lot passively this lane. He's been poking with the Qs. He hasn't been really getting those Heartsteel procs off. But the 4-man push from um, the engage from TPO, the Amumu is locked down. The ult does come out but does not get the kill. The Orianna ult to knock them back. The Sejuani ult goes wide. Vhagar is able to get the kill onto the Orianna, but a huge ult from Xayah does get a return kill, as it's now a 3v2 in bot lane. Set and Mundo are fighting in Dragon Pit, but I don't know if Set even gets out of here, if he even gets a kill. The
No.
Flash E from Mundo does get the kill, as Mundo's looking to join the rest of his
Oh
team.
no.
Sejuani flashes and dashes forward, trying to get something out of here, but just ends up getting the flash out of the Nami. As the 3-man does look to pressure down that mid tier 2, and a teleport is coming in from Nami, so I think they're just going to have to give it up, but the Cage and the W does get the kill on the Sejuani for that turret, so it is a worthy trade, as that was shutdown gold going on to that Vhagar.
That was what Vhagar needed to kind of round out that fight that didn't go overly well for them, but
Oh no, a teleport from set to topside. I don't know if he's looking to catch people out, and he does. He's getting the Orianna and the Amumu. They're caught out. The Kaisa joins on the side. The flash from the Orianna and Amumu is blown. Orianna still is caught
down
out. She
goes Maokai.
gets caught by the Maokai ult. The Kaisa goes in to get the kill, and the Orianna blows her ult, trying to dissuade, get out of there, but the Kaisa does get it.
Nicely
And
done.
TPO is just
That was
looking
a
to
good
turn
fight.
onto the Baron.
Yes.
They realize that there's a lot of GSG is half health or head to back, so they're using their 5-man here to say, hey, we want this, we're going to take this. If you want, you have to come
Sejuani is
walk
there
into us and
though.
fight.
Oh no.
The Vhagar does get the Baron,
Nicely
but
done.
the fight ensues afterwards. The nominee already goes down, as well as the Vhagar. Set gets the kill onto the Mumu, but goes down himself. The Vhagar is down as well. It's currently 2 people limping out of the fight on TPO side. Just the Kaisa and the Maokai is able to get out with that Baron buff.
Hey, at least they still have Baron buff. We do have Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. It's going to be a Mountain Drake.
But
And tier 1 turret in top does go down. They're gonna TPO Ghost is gonna want to get some of these turrets down. Looks like Kaisa just looking to farm her way back. She's down a little bit in farm. But it looks like she's up in items possibly? No, she's not up.
no,
It looks like is Xayah building an immortal shield bow?
she might be, due to the fact of Vhagar not wanting to get blown up. That's a safety net on top of the ult. Orianna is starting to hurt as she lands the QW onto Nami and chunks her heavily.
They're gonna want to fight for this Drake, but
Nami's getting chunked
Nami
hard.
is low.
She's low.
Yeah.
They have to look in to see what's available. Zai is a little bit far back, but the front line's still healthy for GSG.
Everyone's ult is up.
Set
Except
goes in on the
for
Amumu, but the Amumu Q is able to pull them away.
oh no.
Looks like abilities are just being thrown back and forth over the pit, over the wall by jungle. Set's clearing out mid wave, but they know that they have to go in here. They have to fight. The Maokai ult is coming out. The Mundo does block it. His ult comes out as well. The Maokai does go down before the dragon even is close to being able to get smite. Vhagar flashes in to get the Xayah, but is caught now. Dog Davis on the Kaiser is completely untouched. He is turning it around. He's getting killed. He's the set shuts down the Mundo in what a fight that looked like it was going bad after the Maokai got killed before the even Dragon was low, as both the Vagar and Kaisa are able to stay alive and the set to get those kills. It's now two
Let's
for
see
two, and
this
it's a
team fight.
tied kill game as TPO is taking the lead. Once down 2K, now up almost about 1.5K now.
It was a good fight. Gold wise, it looks like bot lane's even. The support's even. Top lane has a bit more gold on the side of Set. Maokai does have more gold over Sejuani, and Vegar's got the gold over Oriana. So this is a totally different fight than we saw the first game. Set was able to pick up the heart steal, where Munda already has 209 stacks on it. Vagar is currently at 197 stacks, so that's 474 AP. So now Set just needs to work on getting those stacks on the heart steal, where we do have Baron up in 2 minutes. So let's see. This game is much different than it was last time.
A much closer game from game one. Looks like TPO is not willing to go down without a fight. They were behind earlier in the game, but they have clawed back and are currently leading.
Let's see. So it looks like the Amumu and Mundo were
Xayah
looking
looks
for the
to be
set.
almost caught out, but they don't know that they're walking into the Amumu and the set. The flash forward from the Amumu does land the ult, but doesn't get all of them, as the Maokai is able to peel the front line. Set is here. It's currently a 2-0. Set's trying his best to peel off the front line so that Kaisa and Nami can get out, but he's going to go down himself. Shutdown gold does go over to Oriana. Nami and Kaisa are forced to kind of try to defend this mid-inhib turret. As the fight looking that was started off by TPO was turned around by the top end support going in for GSG as they rotate towards that top tier 2 turret, get as much gold into their pockets after that win, with most of TPO still down.
They're gonna have supers pushing into their base, so they're gonna really want to be careful here. Oh boy. Alright, Baron is coming up in about 20 seconds.
Infinity Edge was completed for the Kaisa, so that is something that is going to be a big power spike. She's going to be hitting harder
Yeah,
on the
and
Infinity Edge.
Xayah doesn't even have her mythic yet, which if she back now, she would be able to pick that up, but
The shield bow does come through for her.
and Oblivion Orb was picked up for Oriana. She does have full Zonia's Hourglass now. It looks like Vagar's going for the Rabadons at 205 stacks.
The Maokai is able to lock down the Sejuani, but the Amumu returns with a big ult from Set into the backline, but no follow-up from the rest of TPO. The carries are forced to run away as Mundos continued to chase. The Q lands again onto the Vagar. The Q from Amumu lands the Zonias from him, but I don't know if he's able to get anything out of it, as he does go down to the Oriana as well. Mundo is now chasing the Kaisa, who's trying to kite herself out, and she is able to take down the Mundo, but the rest of GSG is turned onto that Baron and are looking to take that down. Big team fight win for GSG once again, with Kaisa and Nami just struggling to get out of the fight.
I mean, this Kaisa is playing very well. I mean, they're 7-3-4 with a 600 gold bounty. They just have to protect this base. Oh boy. So it looks like Zaya is going for the Bloodthirster, where Kaisa's gonna look for the Phantom Dancer, I'm gonna guess.
And third, the second Mountain Soul Drake for GSG goes down, as well as a third Drake in total for them. So they're going to be at Soul Point next Drake. The
Oh
Mumu's
boy.
walking in, potentially getting caught out. The Maokai goes in, but there's nobody really close. It's just the Zaya there. The Vagar cage does go down, but the Oriana all catches out the Vagar. He's forced to flash as Mundo teleports in, going after the Vagar. Nami's caught out as well. She throws out her ult, but it doesn't get away. Set's forced to fight the three-man of GSG as Sejuani was pressuring off the Zaya, was not able to turn and try to assist the rest of her team.
Where's Kaisa going? Oh, she's just trying to back. Alright. I was like,
I don't know if she's
it
going to
looks
be able
like
to do much because this is a four-man Baron push from GSG. Yes, she
yeah,
has items. She's at the 4-item power spike, but there's a wave that they have as well as a super minion wave. She's got to fight. She's got to do something. The Maokai ult comes out. The Amumu lands the Q onto the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa is able to kill the Amumu, but no, they just turn onto the Nexus and take it down, going 2-0 to wrap up this series.
wow. It was a closer game than it was the game number one. But unfortunately, they just didn't have enough to keep the Sejuani and the Mundo at bay. And these Zaya did pull out some like really good ults, but they just didn't have the damage to pull it through. But so that is going to wrap up this series. It was a 2-0 for PSG. I think both teams played very well. I just think that there was just a difference the in the I don't really know where the difference was actually because they all lanes were fairly even damage wise. So
I think it ultimately just came down to there was some small disconnect with TPO in those team fights where they weren't always together there. The frontline and the damage dealers weren't always connected, where the damage dealers sometimes were either late to respond to a fight or the frontline would engage and the damage wasn't there as of yet.
I agree. But all right, that was a good game, good plays by both teams. Hopefully, we will see these guys again. And thank you all for joining us this evening. And I hope that you have a wonderful night.
Have a nice night, everybody.